The world is full of cruel people, and the righteous are their victims. Welcome to another episode. We are still on the preface to this Quran. That's my version of the Quran. And we're still on the unique characteristics talked about. We did up to item 5, the fifth characteristic. We are now going to the sixth characteristic. Let's go with each note. 11. Let's go. It's been revealed to re-establish the sincere worship of God alone without association of any partners with Him, God. This is a book with verses basic or fundamental, further explained in detail. After the word fundamental, we have brackets. Eh? If I include the brackets, it reads, this is a book with verses basic or fundamental, then brackets of established meaning, brackets close, of established meaning, further explained in detail, comma and dash, from one who is wise and well aware, from one who is wise and well aware. Who is it? God the Almighty, God of the universe. There's nobody who is wise and well aware of everything. No. So who is wise and well aware? Comma. And to brackets again, it teaches is in brackets. It teaches that you should worship none but Allah. In other words, it teaches that you should worship none but God. We remove the brackets, it reads that you should worship none but God. Let's go back a bit. From one who is wise and well aware that you should worship none but God. We go to note 11. Where are we going to find the note to read? We are asked to go to Surah Al-Hud. Surah Al-Hud, I think that's 11th chapter. Surah Al-Hud, signs 1 to 2. Signs 1 to 2. Let's see if we can go there first. Surah Al-Hud, verse 1 to 2. So there is 11th chapter, Surah Al-Hud. 11th chapter. Yes, it is 11, signs 1 to 2. Surah Al-Hud, signs 1 to 2. Or sign 1 to 2. Whatever it is, that's signs 1 to 2. Or let me say signs 1 and 2. Surah Al-Hud. Surah Al-Hud. Yes, sign 1 and 2. Let's go straight to the English side. What does it say? This is a book. This is in brackets. If we remove the brackets, it is a book with verses fundamental, further explained in detail from one who is wise and well acquainted. So you see, it goes along with the note. And what does 2 say? It teacheth. Yeah, the same words appear here. It teaches in brackets. It teacheth that ye should worship none but God. Says in brackets, verily I am sent unto you from him to warn and to bring glad tidings. God is telling Muhammad to say it. So you see, they actually depict what they are supposed to depict. I mean the notes. Oh, I'm closing the okay. That is note 11. none but God. And we haven't finished this yet. We haven't finished unique, like the unique character is six before, unique characteristic is six before we continue. And they have been commanded no more than this, column, to worship God, offering him sincere devotion, being true in faith, to establish regular prayer, and to give zakat. And that is the religion right and straight. Note 12. I think I can remember it. وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا الله مخلصين له الدين حنفاء ويقوموا الصلوات ويؤتوا الزكوات وذلك دين القيمة. I think it's Surah Bayinat. Let's see, 12. No, 12, yeah, Surah Al-Bayinat. Surah Al-Bayinah. So we can see it in sign 5. So note 12 refers us to Surah Al-Bayinah. These words are reproduced there, or re-echoed there. Sorry if I didn't give the right reason. Maybe I might miss some words. So, and that ends note 6, number 6, characteristic 6. We are now going to characteristic 7. It contains a complete code which provides for all areas of life, whether spiritual, intellectual, political, social, or economic. Full stop. It's a code which has no boundaries of time, place, or nation. It will continue forever till the end of the world. That's what it means. It's not peculiar to the Arabs, to the Persians, to the Americans, to the Russians, to the Jews, to the Indians, for all nations. All right. Verily, this Quran doeth guide to that which is most right. Then it's note 13. Each note is 13. And 13, where do we find it? Note 13. Surah to Israel. I think that's Israel. No. Surah to Israel. Note 9. Al-Isra, note 9. That's Surah to Al-Isra, sign 9, rather. That is note 13. Note 13 is referring us to Surah to Al-Isra, sign 9. Now we go to characteristic 8, unique characteristic 8. Allah, or let me say God Almighty has taken upon himself the duty of preserving the Quran forever, of preserving the Quran forever in its entirety, as he God says. We have, without doubt, sent down the message, and we will assuredly guard it, into brackets, from corruption. Full stop. The note to read is 14. And where can we find this? Note 14. Surah to Hijrah. Surah to Hijrah. Note sign 9. You go to Surah to Hijrah, sign 9. You will get this same quote there. Yes. Now we haven't finished characteristic 8 yet, or number 8 yet. So well has it been preserved, both in memory and in writing, that the Arabic text we have today is identical to the text as it was revealed to the prophet. No difference, no change in it. Not even a single letter has yielded to corruption during the passage of the centuries. Indeed. And so it will remain forever by the consent of God. And so it will remain forever by the consent of God. Paragraph. Given the depth as well as the sublimity of the Quran, of the Quranic text, a faithful, a faithful translation of it into another language is virtually impossible. Yes, we can translate it for understanding, but it doesn't translate fully, eh, like it is in the Arabic language. For instance, you can't use your language to pray in the Quran because the words are unique. They have spiritual connotations to them. Virtually impossible. Uh, the various translations that exist today, however accurate they may be, cannot be designated as the Quran, since they can never hope to imitate the diction and the style of the book of God. Mm. I read one for you. Mm. You can't, there's no language that will make it rhymeless. Like, Al-Yoma akmaltu lakum dinukum wa atmamtum alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum Islam dinan. Can you get that in any other language? No, only in Arabic. Only in the Arabic language. That's one example. There's so many examples. In fact, all the verses, all the signs. Mm. Style and book of God. But as translation is one of the few ways to export the message of the Quran, to allow those lacking in knowledge of Arabic to share this priceless gift, it becomes a duty for those in a position to fulfill the task. Indeed, you go around all the towns in Muslim countries, we have makarantas, or place where we teach people how to recite the Quran, because that's the best way to learn it. You can't learn the Quran in any other language. People will take ages to recite one verse or a number of verses in the Quran, and it sticks to their gumption. Somebody will say medulla oblongata. It will stick there, and they can't make any mistake about it. They continue doing it today. It's been done centuries back. It's continued today. It's continuing today, and it will continue forever. Mm. People who have no knowledge of any language can learn the Quran. They pay money actually. People pay their words money to go and recite and learn how to recite the Quran. Okay, it becomes a duty for those in position to fulfill this task. Yes, a number of individuals have in the past ventured to translate the Quran, but their works have generally been private attempts, greatly influenced by their own prejudices. Indeed, today people keep on reading the Quran, wanting to find faults, a single fault in it. If they get a single fault, they'll be happy, but they can't. They pretend to, but they are always beaten by arguments, own prejudices. Okay, full stop. In order to produce a reliable translation free from personal bias, a royal decree, yeah, I like this part, a royal decree number 19888, dated 16 stroke 8 stroke 1400 AH, eh, dated 16 stroke 8 or 16 slash 8 slash 1400 AH, in brackets, or brackets closed. There was brackets there. I don't know where the brackets started. Okay, yeah. Number, the bracket starts from a royal decree into brackets number 19888, dated 16 slash 8 slash 1400 AH, bracket closed. Was issued by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King, King Fahd ibn Abdul Aziz. King Fahd ibn Abdul Aziz. Ibn means son, son of Abdul Aziz. At that time, the deputy prime minister, authorizing the general presidency of the departments of Islamic Researches, IFTA, call and guidance to undertake the responsibility of revising and correcting a particular translation would be selected which will be selected for this purpose and made publicly available later. So we are getting an idea of the time this book was translated. That's for 1,400 years ago. I'm not sure, but there might be corrections later. 1,400 years ago. Paragraph. To establish this, I think we finished. I think that's the last number. Let me see. That's number 8. Maybe the last number. I don't think there is any other number there. Yes, that's the last number. Okay. Available later. Uh, to accomplish this enormous task, a number of committees were formed comprising scholars, well qualified both in Islamic Sharia and the English language. Full stop. Some of these scholars were associated with the general presidency of the Departments of Islamic Research, IFTA, call and guidance, Islamic Research, call and guidance, full stop. The first committee was given the task of examining the existing translations and choosing the most suitable one from among them. Full stop. Uh, the committee discovered that there was no translation free from defects, and so there were two options open for consideration. Colon. The first was to select the best translation available and then adopt it as a base for further work, as well as a source of reference, with the objective of revising the contents, and correcting any faults in view of the objections raised against it. In view of the objections raised against it. Semicolon. The second was to prepare a fresh and independent translation starting from scratch. You see, it's not an easy task. So this book, this Quran that I'm reading, this is what it has gone through. The translation didn't just come out of the blue. Committees were set. First committee, second committee, and so on. And they revised them over and over and over before coming out with the book. Mm. The second was to prepare a fresh independent translation starting from scratch. Full stop. Paragraph. It became obvious from studying these translations that the second option demanded much time and effect, neither of which were available at the time. Full stop. Paragraph. No, not paragraph. Full stop. But space, not paragraph. But okay, maybe paragraph. Because there is spacing. The first option was therefore considered to be more practical, since it met the existing urgent requirements and helped to achieve the desired goal in a comparatively short period of time. Full stop. The translation by the late Ustaz, Abdallah Yusuf Ali, was consequently chosen for its distinguishing characteristics, such as a highly elegant style, a choice of words close to the meaning of the original text, accompanied by scholarly notes and commentaries, And it's the commentaries that we are reading today. Mm. We are told that it was Ustaz Abdallah Yusuf Ali. Mm. The translation by the late Ustaz Abdallah Yusuf Ali was consequently chosen for its distinguishing characteristics. So we can say that he's responsible for the notes that we are reading here, or either I am reading or we are reading, I don't know, that we are reading here. Abdallah Yusuf Ali. May God bless him. Radiallahu anhu. Mm. He might not be alive today. He shouldn't be. Mhm. Even if he lived as old as Noah, he must have passed away. May God bless his soul. Mm. Uh, for its distinguishing characteristics, such as highly elegant style and choice of words close to the beginning and original text, accompanied by scholarly notes and commentaries. Full stop. Paragraph. The committee began revising and correcting this translation with the aid of other translations available. Beautiful. It's like scientific research. Somebody starts, uh, doesn't finish before dying, writes his nose down, somebody comes and continues. So that's science in the Quran for you, if you like. That's for the thinking human being. Ulul Nuha, Ulul Albab. Mm. So let me repeat that. The committee began revising and correcting the translations with the aid of other translations available, mm, by comparing and then adopting best expressions, as well as by introducing fresh expressions where necessary. The committee was fully aware of all the criticisms that had been directed against this translation and which had been carefully brought to the notice of the presidency by a number of academic bodies and other involved parties. Full stop. In the second stage, the entire work of this committee was referred to a number of individuals and organizations who then who then augmented any deficiencies in the work of the committees. Full stop. A third committee A third committee was set up to collate all their suggestions. So you see, the second committee used the first committee to complete its work, added its own expressions, and a third committee was set up again to collate a third committee, to collate all these suggestions. Full stop. It then compared all such views regarding specific issues, selected regarding specific issues, selected an appropriate ones, selected an appropriate ones, and arrived at a text as authentic and defect-free. Defect-free is affinated, authentic and defect-free, as well as humanly possible. Mm. Uh, Selected the appropriate one or ones, because there is this one, the S is in brackets, it's ones, but the S is in brackets. So either the appropriate one or the appropriate ones, and arrive at a test of authentic and defect free, as well as humanly possible, as well as humanly defect free, as was, not as was, humanly, let me take it again, and arrived at a test as authentic and defect free as was humanly possible. Full stop. Paragraph. Yes, paragraph. Uh, Finally, a fourth committee. Oh, may God bless King Fahd and his committee members, all the committee members. May God bless them, without whom we couldn't have been reading this text, this Quran. May God bless them abundantly. Mm. Okay. Finally, a fourth committee was formed to look into the findings of the second and third. They've not dealt away with the first because the first has been the defects of the first have been taken over by the second and third. So a fourth committee was formed to look into the findings of the second and third committees and to implement and to implement the recommendations made by them. Full stop. Furthermore, this committee had to finalize the test by adopting the most accurate expressions where needed, comma, besides checking the notes vigilantly besides checking the notes vigilantly so as to clear any misconceptions regarding the articles of faith, varying justice of articles of faith, comma, varying justice, sorry, not varying juristic, no, uh, uh, regarding the articles of faith, varying juristic opinions and thoughts not in conformity with the sound Islamic point of view. I think that's spiritual. Also, a paragraph. In the course of its work, the committee came across some Arabic words which could not be translated correctly, such as zakat and tagut. Yeah. So you can see up to today, the word zakat is being used. Nobody has tried, you try to get an English word for zakat, you don't get it. Charity is not precisely zakat, for instance. And tagut is an Asian god that was used, and there's no English word for it. So let's see. Let me take it again. In the course of the work, the committee came across some Arabic words which could not be translated correctly, such as zakat and tagut. Full stop. It was therefore decided to give a transliteration of these words in English with a brief explanatory note for each one at its first occurrence in the text. I think we come to it, is there. Full stop. The reader will find a list of such words in the end of this brief. Yes, at the end, the reader will find a list of these. Let me take it again. The reader will find a list of such words at the end of this preface. Full stop and a comma, as well as a list containing an English translation of Arabic letters. Full stop. A list of the abbreviations used in the work is also provided. We shall get there, God willing, soon. It's also provided. Full stop. Finally, the reader will find at the end of the text a comprehensive list containing references to proper names of people, places, and important topics, comma, in dealt with either in the text or in the accompanying notes. Full stop. Paragraph. According to the Royal Decree number 12412, which one came first? The other one was 19 something. Okay. Viewers, you take note of it. According to the Royal Decree, into brackets, number 12412, dated 27/10/1405. Okay, this one came later. The first one was earlier, around 1400. Uh, According to the Royal Decree number 12412, dated 27/10/1405 AH, brackets close. This translation is printed in King Fahd Only Quran Printing Complex in Al Madina, Al Munawwara, Al Madina, Al Munawwara, Bright Medina, or something like that. Madina. Mhm. Al Madina, Al Munawara. Pardon me, sometimes I make mistakes. So let me withdraw my words. It might not be that. Al Madina. So let me just stop at Al Madina, Al Munawara. And also with the coordination of the General Presidency of the Departments of Islamic Researches, IFTA call and guidance. Full stop. Paragraph. No, no, not paragraph. Full stop. To implement the directions of the custodian of the two holy mosques, may God preserve him. Mm, The custodian, may God preserve him is in brackets. May God preserve him is in brackets. So let me read it without the brackets. To implement the directions of the custodian of the two holy mosques uh, concerning concerning the propagation of the book of God, its distribution and translation into every language spoken by Muslims, the Muslims the worldwide, and due to the cooperation between the General Secretariat of King Fahd Holy Quran Printing Complex and the Presidency of the Islamic Researches IFTA call and guidance regarding a faithful, specific, and scholarly translation of the meanings of the Holy Quran. We are pleased to present to all Muslims and those seeking spiritual light among English speaking people this translation, which comes as one of the series of the translations of the meanings of the Holy Quran into various languages, printed by the complex in Al Madina, Al Munawara. A very long sentence, isn't it? But I hope viewers will sit down later and then try to see, to comprehend it. Okay. And I think, like me and you, where does it sit? Uh, specific Holy Quran Printing Complex and the Presidency of Islamic Researches if a call and guidance regarding a faithful, specific, and scholarly translation of the meanings of the Holy Quran, we are pleased to present to all Muslims and those seeking spiritual light, all Muslims and those seeking spiritual light. Yes, like you and I, we are seeking spiritual light by listening to this or by viewing these my uh, videos. That's what I wanted to stress on. Let's see. Yes, Al Madina. Oh, I should just complete it. Among English speaking people, this translation, which comes as the series, which which comes sorry which comes as one of the series of the translations of the meanings of the Holy Quran into various languages printed by the complex in Al Madina Al Munawwara Al Madina Al Munawwara full stop paragraph. And I think that's the last sentence. May God reward bounteously those who were behind this blessed work. Indeed, I've prayed for them already. May God reward them. None of them might be alive today. They've taken their good works to them in their graves, and God will reward them abundantly. They've done a very good job for me and you. And then finally, what is under the presidency of the Islamic Researches IFTA call and guidance? The presidency of the Islamic Researches sorry, the Presidency of Islamic Researches, IFTA, call and guidance. I think that's all for the preface. We shall end here, viewers. When we come back, we shall go to Arabic words and Arabic words explained. Yes, we won't leave anything out. We will read everything that is in this book. You can see the time and energy taken by scholars to write them. Why do we leave them out? They didn't do them for nothing. They did them for me and you to read and to propagate. to everybody around the world. So when we come back, God willing, we shall go to Arabic words explained. Uh, you can see it. Oh, the book is so bad. Arabic words explained. And that is all for this video. Thank you very much. Illa lakai. Bye bye. Au revoir. May God bless you all, or may God bless all of you.